Good afternoon, everybody. Andrew Rose here, Capital Financial Solutions, and very excited to have a good friend with me, Stan Vaccari. As you guys will hear, for those of you who do not know Stan, he is across the pond, as they say, in Manchester, in the United Kingdom. So he is ending his business day. I just had lunch, but it's very excited to have Stan here. And what we're going to talk about today is health and wealth. And for many of you out there, you've hired me or you're going to hire a financial advisor to take care of your wealth building fitness. But equally important and definitely integrated within that is your health fitness as well. And that's why Stan's here, because I think, again, there's a big correlation between health and wealth, which we'll talk over. But very excited to have Stan. We're going to have some fun talking about how he helps busy professionals and folks who really want to emphasize rebuilding their health, and we're going to also talk about how that matters to your dollars as well. So, Stan, thanks for joining, my friend. I appreciate you being here. And if you don't mind, just give us a quick rundown who you are, your story, and we'll rock and roll from there.
Great to have you. Thank you for the introduction. Very kind of you. No, I was excited all week to talk about this with you. I know we've been back and forth, and we're both big advocates of health and wealth. You know, you're a bit of an outdoorsman. I also like the outdoors, but I think both, like you said, are very integrated. And people often think I've got to, separate my time with work, and then I can buy back my time later, and I can get healthy later. And oftentimes it's a bit too late. But yeah, so like I'm Stan in the UK, obviously, for all your, I imagine most of your clients are in the US.
Yes, correct.
So they'll be able to tell the accent straight away. Manchester, and this is what someone from Manchester sounds like. I don't know if most people
That's
will,
right.
I don't
Yeah,
know if most
people would
people,
enjoy it. They'll know Andrew's in the Southeast, country boy, and then, yeah, Stan's over in
so
the
I'm
UK.
Northwest. So I'm Northwest England. This is what we sound like. If you haven't been to Manchester, it rains a lot and it's known for football. So that's, well, soccer for you. So that's about it. Would you like me to share my screen? Do you want me to? Uh,
Absolutely. Yep, go ahead.
Perfect. So a little bit about me before we start for all your so this is what I've been doing for the past 8 years. I've been helping busy professionals, but before that it was I never actually, I always loved health and fitness. It was always part of my life. It was something that I loved doing personally, but I didn't know if I'd do it as a job. I just thought it's something that I didn't know how you could make money with it, or I didn't know even know if people would want to train with me. You know, I used to like training really hard. I used to like doing it. And I think that's the stigmas people give as well, is it's just for a certain type of person. Whereas I tried to make it, and this is why I've called it transformative health and habit reform. It's something that can be integrated into anyone's life, not just a gym goer, or someone that identifies themselves as something as a gym goer. It's all something that you can create into your life, and something that is instilled, like building wealth. Building health is the exact same thing. So a little bit about me. Let me click onto the. So, like I said, I didn't always think I was going to be a personal trainer. I actually studied history at university, and as you can tell now, using my degree well, like most people that go to university,
That's
using it,
right.
yeah, using it really well. But whilst I was at university, that is where I started to have a little bit of like a look at my own life. Like, what do I love doing? I was looking at all these graduate jobs. I was working at the BBC in the UK doing sports stuff, and I was training a lot of people. Just on the side whilst I was at university, I was training my friends for free, and then I ended up
Mhm.
training like a few people. And I looked at my life and I was like, I love health and fitness. And then I moved into doing in person personal training. That's a different ball game altogether. That was in the gym 50 hours a week. Then I was doing my online stuff, and it became I'm a business, and essentially I'm a business owner, so I know how hard it can be to balance your health and try and create your own business that's successful, profitable, and still gives you a life. And I didn't do a great job at the start. I was working 50 odd hours a week in the gym, still working online, and then as you can see in this picture here, not that I'm not saying I was in horrendous shape, but for me that wasn't great. I remember taking that picture before I went on a holiday, and I thought, wow, I need to reevaluate what I was doing. And then, cut to a year later, I made a lot of good health choices and a lot of like simple compromise that I instill in all my clients. And that's something that I've worked with over 500 people over the past 8 years. It's too many to count it, but I know it's over 500 because I went through my I went through my
That's
client
awesome.
I got my client app, it was too many to count. But yeah, I absolutely love my job. I've never woken up on a Monday. When you talk about wealth and stuff, and I'm sure you, Andrew, relate to this, like helping people. I've never woken up on a Monday and hated, thinking,
Mhm.
I don't want to go in today. And I look, so that's, and health and fitness has been my passion for a while, and now I get to help other people. So the type of people that I actually train now and help has changed a little bit. When I started, it was a lot of professional athletes. Now, some of your clients over in the US might not know these people. They might just look like random people on a nice picture. Um, Jason, in the UK, he's a comedian, actor. He's been in a few TV shows. But the professional athletes started training Premier League footballers. So Taylor plays for Southampton currently. He won the Under-21s World Cup with England. And your clients might be thinking, well, if he trains athletes, what does that have to do with me? But everyone has very similar, goals. Like, even though these are professional athletes now, I actually started with retired athletes who were, and Freddie Flintoff was one of the best cricketers. I know you guys are into baseball, but we're cricketers. Was one of the best cricketers
Uh-huh.
England had, and Robbie was a Premier League footballer who they transitioned from their playing career where it's all go go go, and they had a goal of health and fitness. So now it's like, well, what's the point? So I had to kind of get them into wanting to be able to fit and healthy for their own, wants and needs, and also fit into life. Like, so Freddie presented like Top Gear. I don't know if you're aware of Top Gear over.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
so
Big show for the motor enthusiasts.
yeah, so he
Absolutely.
presented Top Gear. He's done quite a lot post cricket, but a lot of it was health and fitness related. And Robbie was great. He like retired from football and played over 400 games in the Premier League, and it was just about creating sustainable habits and getting them in the gym. And for one, why do you want to train every day? It's not just about going to your sport anymore. And Tom, if you've seen him, if you've seen the latest Willy Wonka film, he's in the latest Willy Wonka film. So but his is a really demanding schedule of touring, filming. So it's, even though maybe your clients right now might think, why does this apply to me? I'm not an actor, but it can be incorporated into anyone's life no matter what you schedule. That's my point with these types of people. So yeah, so that's where I started, and now I moved into, people like yourself and people like you. A lot of your clients will be very busy desk-based professionals. I'm desk-based now. I've gone from being in the gym 50 hours a week to sitting on my laptop all day and just helping people get fitter and healthier.
Absolutely. Well, and you bring up a great point. Everybody has 24 hours in a day, right? And they have professional endeavors, they have family, they have other commitments. And in the time poor quote that you have there, it's true regardless of your status in life, a professional athlete or someone who's an attorney or business owner, or even if they're retired, often, they're going to be busy too, even if it's volunteering. So yeah, I definitely love that approach where, like you said, it's, hey, I'm taking people who they have an incentive, they want to better themselves physically, emotionally, and they're just looking for time and they need that accountability. And finances are so much of that. What I do with my clients, I tell them that all the time. They'll say, well, what's the real value add? I said, it's saving you time and making good decisions, the right decisions quickly so you can get back to the other stuff. And I'm sure you do the same thing too.
100%. And time is the one thing you can't buy. People
Yeah,
trade
100%.
their health for money, and then later in life they try and buy it back and buy their health back. And I've got clients now who are in their 60s, sold the companies for a lot of money, and now they're like trying to scramble to get their health back. When if they just made it a small part of their life, they didn't have to make it all encompassing like they do now that they're retired. They could have
Yeah,
made such bigger gains and progress earlier down the line. And you saying there with your finances, I essentially do the same thing for all my clients. I fast track how fast you get into a healthy position. You can try it on your own, and a lot of people can succeed doing it on their own and without the accountability and everything. But I pretty much guarantee for a lot of my clients that if you follow these steps and very simple steps and work it into your life, that you will get there in a shorter period of time than if you went on your own. And that, I'm sure that's very similar to you.
100%, 100%. I tell people that too. It's, hey, why try to do it alone when you can get a coach, fitness coach, financial coach, somebody who, again, has the expertise, they have the knowledge, they have the compassion to help you. Because you're right, you're not alone, you're not in the dark. And, so this brings up another question I have for you, Stan, is, how can people apply it, especially for like many folks I work with, they travel. They're on the road, they're going. So help share, how you build your schedule, how you're able to help these folks, especially again, you have clients here on the East Coast. We were just talking about this earlier. You have clients in North Carolina, in Pennsylvania, New York. So folks you may never see in person. So tell us a little bit about your schedule and how you can integrate your training, your accountability for those people who are constantly on the road, on the go, stuck to their cell phone, stuck to their laptop.
Definitely. So the main problem I see is what I call chronic dieting. People think that they have to be through their whole life in a calorie deficit, trying to lose weight. How many times do you speak to someone I mean, we don't have Thanksgiving over here, but let's say Christmas. I'm losing weight in the new year, and every single year it's the same conversation. 83,
Uh-huh.
83% of these people rebound, and that is just a fact. And then 5 years later, 50% of them have gained 11 pounds or more. And because they don't actually work it into their life, like you said, I work with a lot of people in North Carolina, a lot on the East Coast, a couple in Oregon. The West Coast people don't love me as much for some reason. I don't know what it is, but the East Coast, I've got a lot of love from the East Coast, so I like the East Coast.
That's a good thing. That's all right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and I never meet these people in person, but we create a schedule that's completely based to their life. And the main thing I always promote first is health. I will never try and get someone healthy, making them unhealthy. I will never make them do extreme things, fad diets, all those sorts of things. They don't work. You have to make something. My diet, my life, my schedule will be completely different to yours. If I was going to train you, I'd do it in a completely different way to do myself. And that's why it's got to be tailored to the person. If you travel a lot, it doesn't mean that you might not have, let's say someone works 9 to 5. Okay, they might get up at 6 in the morning, can get to the gym, can get to the work, may have no kids, may live a very simple life. That means that they can make really quick progress. And you see all these pictures online of I've transformed in this many, this many weeks. If you travel a lot, you have a young family, you cannot compare yourself to that person. You have different commitments, you have different stresses. So you have to, but instead of just giving up and thinking there's no point doing this, you have to make something that's actually, you know, fits around it. It might not be really quick progress, but at least it's some progress. So that's what I emphasize to everyone. Some progress is enough progress. You don't have to make leaps and bounds every single week in terms of like lose 5 pounds every week. It's just not sustainable. So I make it sustainable, make it a lifestyle approach. Some of the best results I've ever had with clients, and I'll show you later on, is training twice a week. Literally
Mhm.
going to the gym twice a week for 30 minutes at a time, an hour a week, and you focus on what you can control: your food, your walking, your stress levels, your sleep. That is what most people think. Most people think the opposite of. I need to be in the gym to lose.
Mhm.
You actually don't. The gym's great. I love the gym. Don't get me wrong. I love training. I love strength training. Strength training's got its own improvements. I'll go into that I mean, benefits for your life, and I'll go into that later. But to actually lose weight, improve your health, I would say 90% of it is outside the gym. And
Isn't
the
that
reason
amazing?
it's amazing. And the
Yeah.
reason I highlight these two stats here, it's and this is crazy. And it's the same in the UK. I'm not shaming the US. Two-thirds of people in the US and the UK are classed as obese and overweight. And when
Mhm.
it's a preventative disease. Bankruptcy, and this applies to you, and this is where health and wealth go in together. Healthcare is and I couldn't believe this when I was researching. When I started working with a lot of US clients, healthcare is the number one cause of personal bankruptcy in the US. So
Mhm.
how does health and wealth connect? Well, it does. Down the line, if you do not prioritize your health early on in your life, it's going to make you pay for it, literally.
Absolutely. And I see that with my clients, especially as they enter into retirement. And like you mentioned, people can't get back that time. You can always get back money, but taking care of your health, investing in your health while you're working, while you're young, is going to pay dividends, to use a financial term, when you're retired and as you're older. And we've all seen it. We've seen the 80-year-old who's on a golf course 4 days a week and looks like he's 55. And then we've seen the 50-year-old who looks like he's 70 and he's on high blood pressure medication. He's had a heart attack. And like you said, all of those things are going to cost more money in the future. And that can be such a strain on retirement readiness of like, hey, look, you want to travel, you want to pay your bills, you want to do these things, but your healthcare costs might now be 10%, 20% of your budget per year because of medications and things, again, that could have been prevented earlier on if people took the time for it.
100%. And even earlier on than that, let's say you have high blood pressure now. Let's say you have high sugar levels. I've trained quite a few people recently, and I've helped them reverse diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Once again, a preventative disease. You are
Right.
not with diabetes forever. That's the best, unless you're type 1. And I've had a type 1 diabetic client recently, and he has literally been the healthiest. He had all his bloods done recently, and he was the healthiest he's ever been. And purely through very simple strategies that we put in place. But let's say you're paying for dialysis, and you're paying for things that you just don't need to pay for as long as you prioritize your health. Now, just going back to the older person, I had a very good role model in my grandpa. At 77 years old, he used to play badminton in the garden with me. I mean, that was just, I used to think, wow, like, you see people like bent over and walking around. He can get up the stairs, he rides a bike around Italy, and, that's the best. And that is the ultimate form of wealth, in my opinion. Listen, I
A
like making,
hundred percent.
likes making money, and don't get me wrong, I like making money. But if you have to trade all your money for your health, and there has to be some give at some point. And that's where I try to emphasize to all my clients, because people will say, and we'll go into this in the future soon, I'm sure. Oh, it's expensive to eat well. Well, is it if you're eating out at McDonald's all the time, or is it if if your shopping bill might be a little bit more, but if you're not eating out at fast food places, are you actually saving money in the long run?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great point. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to talk about because I get that from clients when we're doing budgeting often. It's like, oh, the grocery bill or this expense or eating out. And you really start to refine it. And it's like, look, you can find that money, which I know you're going to help us on, to eat well. It's not really that expensive compared to, like you said, the convenience factor that so many people rely on because they're busy. But then, like you said, the compounding effect your wallet, but to your health and your waistline and everything else that it could provide too.
100%. And like you said before, the medication down the line. But how many of your clients, and I'm guilty of it myself, you'll go into and I'll do it even myself in supermarkets, and I eat everything from, I go to a farm. I'm very lucky that I'm in the countryside and I get to go to a farm and get everything grass fed and all that sort of stuff. But I'll go and go, oh, I'm not getting that steak, it's £10. But then I'll happily spend £40 on a steak, when I'm
Yeah.
out, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But then if I want, so it's how we balance it. You'll go out
Mhm.
and eat. I don't know what the average price over in North Carolina is, but let's say a meal was $30. You could probably make that meal. Let's say it was chicken, vegetables, potatoes. You'd probably pay for that.
Yeah,
Probably make that meal for $7, $8. But
absolutely.
everyone sees that as like, oh, that's a really expensive meal. So yeah, those are and we will go through it in a little bit more detail and how we can budget and stuff. But those are the things that I see with my clients. And the main thing of with the type of people I train as well, corporate lifestyle, business people, people that are at desk a lot. These are symptoms of of the lifestyles that we live: reduced activity levels, sedentary lifestyle, and then that equals weight gain, stress. For men, loss of testosterone, loss of libido, low confidence. Can you put a price on all these things as well? It's easy to, yes, it's hard to get in shape, otherwise everyone would be, but it's also hard to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes and be like, I don't like how I look in a suit. I don't like how I look when I'm going out. I, it makes me sad when I talk to people and they don't want to get in pictures with their kids. You can't buy back this time that you have with your kids and with your grandkids and things like that. That's why I try to make everyone more confident, more healthier, and feel better in themselves as well.
That's a huge point. And that's such a big point is the mental health aspect of it. When
Definitely.
you look good, you feel good. And like you said, your confidence level goes up, your anxiety level goes down. And especially for, I work with a lot of women professionals as well. And, obviously, women want to look good. They want to take care of themselves. They want to feel good. And I've seen that so many times where a lot of my financial advising for those who are entrepreneurs or business owners or high level corporate roles, it's all about that bringing your confidence into work. And that can directly relate to your earning capabilities and your opportunity to make more money, promotions, et cetera. But like you said, if the result of it is, I don't feel good, I don't have energy, I don't like the way I look, that's not going to equate in those worlds. So you got to start with the source 100% of the time.
It's funny that you said that. It's like you read my mind. People that often exercise, compared to people that don't exercise regularly, earn on average 13% more.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy? Like, who doesn't want to earn more money? Like, as much as you might not be money driven or anything like that, everyone wants to earn a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the world we live in, and rightly or wrongly, people will judge you off appearance as well. Like, I'm not saying
Mhm.
this is the only reason to get in shape, but I do have it with clients who, they say at the start, "Oh, I don't care about this and that," and then suddenly they get in shape and they're like, "I love you see them topless selfies on Instagram and things like that, and you're like, "Oh,
That's right.
now they love getting in shape." So,
Yeah.
but it is a direct correlation of feeling good. You feel good, you look good, you feel good, you will perform better. When
Mhm.
you say about mental. I would say 80% of my training is just for how I feel mentally myself. If I do not get my session in the morning, I'm not a great person the rest of the day. I don't think I
Yeah.
it's to myself. I don't mean to other people. I talk to myself badly. I like view myself badly. Oh, you're doing rubbish with your work, or you've done that poorly, or you didn't do that call right, or you didn't just how I view the world. So I is I'm almost I know that people probably think, oh, he's a personal trainer, he's going to say all these things, it's business. I like to put my passion onto other people because I want people to know the capabilities of how they feel and what it actually feels to feel good. And when you say about stress as well,
Yeah.
we both you and I are business owners. We spoke about this and the stresses of being a business owner, whether you're in fitness, finance, wherever it is so high. So if you don't have an outlet for that, it can be detrimental on your health as well.
It can be. And, as a personal story for me, as somebody who exercises and takes care of my health, when I was a child, that was my motivator. My dad was a type 1 diabetic. I
Wow.
saw the health problems he had. I was an overweight kid. As a kid, I ate what I wanted. And like you said, I got made fun of. My sister picked on me, kids picked on me. And when I was about 11 years old, I made the decision. I said, I'm going to take care of my health. I said, one, because I want to feel good. I want to look good. But even now, like you said, after years and years and years of building the habit of fitness, I can totally tell the days I work out and exercise, the days I focus on that to start my morning, I have better mental clarity. My energy levels are higher. I don't have to go get a third cup of coffee at 2 p.m. And like you said, the stress level's better. We've all been there as a professional or business owner. You wake up, you dread something that day, your head's kind of in a bad space. But if you can take 20 minutes for a walk, for yoga, for riding a bike, hitting the weights, it's amazing when you get through those 20 minutes how you have this calm again. And it's like, okay, I'm ready to tackle this. So
Definitely.
yeah, as my personal test tube, and my clients would probably relate to it. They definitely wouldn't want to work with Andrew if he did not exercise for multiple days in a row. He'd be like, he's a
100.
little cranky, he's a little edgy right now.
Oh, I am. I'm grumpy Stan if I don't train. But
Yeah.
it also training going back to how individualized it has to be. Training for you and I will look very, very different. Like I might just want to
Mhm.
go in and do some weights. Yours might be, and it might be for some of your clients. It doesn't have to be going in the gym. I know a lot of people have a bit of a stigma about going in the gym. I have clients who train at home. Some people's workout is go for a hike. I love
Yeah.
nature. Nature will literally bring down, it's been studied, it's been tested, 70% it can bring down anxiety and feelings of depression by just going for a walk in a green area. It's
Hmm.
so important for you. So all those types of things it's not a one size fits all approach. If you're listening to this now and you're thinking, well, he can go in the gym. I've never been in the gym before. That's fine. You don't have to start there. You can start at home. You can start by walking, and you can build up to those things of wherever you want to be. I think that's really important. And I've always been fortunately. I'd really my mum and dad were both very like exercise, the push exercise. I trained as a kid. I did a lot of I've been in the gym with my dad since I was 12. So I've literally trained all the time. And he's
Hmm.
6 years old and I mean, you would think he's 45. He looks great and he's trained forever. I've never seen him not train. And I think that also instilled in my life as well. And that's the point I always try to make with my clients. Whatever you do now, if you have kids, those traits will pass on. If you
Yeah.
prioritize something, that will pass on. If you want your kids to be healthy, you have to lead by example.
100%. I've got a client and both of their kids play soccer, football. So while they're at the game, what she does is she walks around the soccer field. So instead of sitting in a chair, she walks
Yeah.
because she's like, hey, I'm going to maximize my time. I'm with my kids, I'm watching. But it's funny. She made a comment to me one day. Her youngest son, his name's Brian. She said, Brian made the comment and said, Mom, you didn't walk today. I saw you sitting in your chair. Why didn't you walk today? So you're
Oh shit.
exactly right. Kids pick up on this stuff and they notice habit and that's going to carry them to the future as well.
I have a client who did the exact same. She got rugby over in the UK. She has two sons that play rugby. The main thing I started her with doing is how long do you at the rugby for? 80 minutes. That's 8,000 steps. If you walk
Right.
around the whole time, that's 8,000 steps. She
Hmm.
has literally lost 30 pounds, and we've only started the gym 3 months after she started with me. We were focused on food and walking, and that was it. And
That's
that's
fantastic.
that's the main thing. So that's a great point. So the
Mm.
thing I wanted to highlight most next was why we struggle as humans, as a society. And the main thing I see is just going on to the steps. The national average is 3,300 in the US. That's roughly 30 minutes of walking per day. So that means throughout 24 hours, someone's only moved their body for 30 minutes. So
Mhm.
50% of people use time as a barrier to exercise. Now, I don't know about you, these things, phones, everyone's got time to scroll, everyone's got time for Netflix. But then when it comes to walking, getting the steps in, no one seems to have the time. So these are things
Mhm.
that I focus on with all my clients, like breaking down these mental barriers of, oh, I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time to go to the gym. You do have time. It's just where you prioritize your time. Now, just going back to stress as well. I know we touched on it before, but if you are, if you have a very stressful job, it can sometimes feel like mental load. It can feel like it becomes a second job. Health and fitness as well. Like you've already got a mental
Mhm.
family with your training. I know personally, I've used a coach myself, and people might think, why is a personal trainer use a coach? Because I needed someone to be accountable to in terms of when my business got really busy. I thought I'm not prioritizing my own health. So I used a coach. I paid for a coach. I said, I know what I'm doing, but you set the plan. I don't have to think about it then. I don't have to program myself. I check in with you. You keep me accountable. And that helped me so much. So I know the benefits personally from doing it. And I've also had business coaches before who have helped me plan, strategize, all those things, to help grow my business. So I try to lead by example. I thought if I'm not willing to pay for someone myself, why should someone have me? That's that's
Yeah.
that's that's how I saw it. And then the last thing that most people do is an all or nothing approach, and people go with fad diets. They
Mhm.
they restrict themselves, then they overeat, and then they feel really bad about it, and then they feel like they've just ruined all the progress. So this is everything I work on with all my clients, and the main reason I do it is I try to get because most people lack clarity, they lack support, they lack accountability. They'll Google, they'll read nonsense on Instagram, social media, Twitter, and then they base everything off that. And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be this way. I try to make it as simple as possible for everyone that comes to me and whatever their goal is. The confused dieter is not a good sight. The confused dieter is someone that's you know, constantly thinking about the next, oh, this isn't working in the immediate. I need to go to a low carb diet. I need to do this. I need to do that. When if they just stuck to the plan and stuck to something that if they've got a proven, look, this worked for 100 people, why can't it work for me? That's how they've got to view it. And it's increased financial, just going, bringing it back to wealth, the increased financial outlay down the line when people think, oh, I'm paying for a coach, I'm paying for food, I'm paying for a gym membership, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't very much money compared to what you'd be paying in regards to your health and in regards to medication down the line.
That's right. Absolutely. And it's the same in finances. There's so much information out there, and so many people that come to me will say, "Well, I read online, a Reddit article, Google article, social media. I saw this, or I was told to do this." And there's so much information, and people generally just grab kind of the thing they like, just like in dieting. Ooh, keto diet. I need to do a keto diet. It's like, well, that may not really be the best thing for you. And so we do the exact same thing you do, Stan, is, break down the goal. What are you trying to achieve? What is most important to you as an individual, as a family? And then from there, build the plan around it that works best for you. And like you said, simplify, get rid of the noise, get rid of the stuff out there. And oftentimes clients, the feedback, like you said, is as they see the value being made over time, they're like, man, this was worth it. This was so worth it. Like, I'm glad I didn't invest in this thing, or I'm glad I didn't go with this fad diet or try this workout program. So, yeah, the accountability is huge, but definitely when you build it around, like you said, clarity, you got to start with what you want.
Touch wood, I've never had anyone come to me and go, that was not worth the money. Like out
Yeah.
of the 500 people, I've never had that happen. So, and I'm sure you've not, I mean, both of us care a lot about, I think when you have your own business,
Mhm.
it becomes your baby, doesn't it? And like I
Yeah.
treat every single client like it's myself. I am
Mhm.
training myself to get, and it gives me a real buzz and it gives me a real joy when I see people overcome these mental barriers. On top of health things as well, and like we were saying before, 55% of people feel depressed when they're overweight. That is, and once again, just by losing weight, you can literally improve yourself, how you view yourself. And also, if people are paying for self medication, depression medication, I'm not saying it's all linked to being overweight. It's not all linked to the gym. There's obviously a lot of other factors, but if this is one factor that you can control, that is something that we should prioritize.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%.
And then the other thing, so I said it before, like with strength training and cardiovascular, and like putting the training plan together. I can do it based on whatever, but and this might look very confusing. So these are pretty much all cause mortality, cardiovascular disease, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, and that's if you've got insufficient exercise. So if you're not doing the basic exercise of, let's say, 2 hours a week, this is how high the chance of having all four of those things are. Then you do add just muscle strengthening in, it becomes down a little bit. You add aerobic in, so literally walking, going for a bike ride, something like that. You add both in. Look how much it drops. Literally, it's almost down to 0.2 for respiratory diseases from if you're just sitting on the couch all day. That's how important when people think, oh, it's not important. Well, it becomes important when you start reaching over 50, 60 years old and you see friends dying. And this sounds very morbid, but I have a client who I've had for the last 5 years. He's 66 years old. Like I said before, I think I told you about him. He sold his company for
Mm.
100 million.
Yep.
He's born in 1958, and he told me a stat the other day that it was 58% of people born in 1958 were already dead.
Wow. Isn't that
And
crazy?
because he'll say to me, oh, I'm not as strong as I was 2 years ago. And I'm like, Steve, you're fine. You're going great. You're doing great. You're doing push-ups. You're doing pull-ups. You're 66. Keep going. And that's someone that really focuses on their health now. But would he probably have wished he had 20 years ago when he was building his business? I mean, who knows? He probably would have if he could have found something that actually worked. But back then, it probably wasn't online. It was you have to go to a gym at a certain time and you have to be with a PT and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Things change. And the longevity component to it is, like you said, I talk with clients about that all the time when I do their retirement forecast. I say, hey, I'm going to show you living to 95. And I always hear that, oh, there's no way I'm living to 95. And I'm like, well, if one of you lives to 60, there's actually a 50% chance one spouse is living to 90 years old. And it's only increasing with healthcare.
Yeah.
But the quality of that longevity is so huge too. And I think that's where most clients I work with, they get concerned about is they're like, they see 95 and think, I'm bedridden. I can't do anything. I'm stuck at home. But you're right. It's the fitness component of it is, hey, wouldn't it be a better lifestyle to live till 95, but to have the quality of life to go with it? And who wouldn't want to live longer? Again, I've talked to so many people, like you said, in their 70s and their 60s and their 50s. And when they see siblings pass away or this, they often say, man, I wish they could see life now or in the future, 10 years from now, what things will look like. So it's amazing how, like you said,
Yeah.
just doing that little bit of exercise, again, control what you can control. And we talk about that with money too. Control the components that you can control because in health, in money, there's so much stuff we can't. But if you focus on that and what you can control, it's amazing the outcomes that could be different down the road.
I mean, definitely. I mean, my nonna, so my family are Italian. She
Mhm.
survived till she was 103, and that was
Wow.
before healthcare and everything. So, I mean, and she lived a very healthy lifestyle over in Italy. Like there was very good food and all that sort of stuff. But people are going to live longer. And how I look at it is, people think it's oh, you only live once. Why not have that cheesecake? And I'm all of a proponent for that. I love cheesecake. I love treat yourself every now and then, but in the same respect, you only live once. Why would you want to be in a body that you feel trapped in? But
Hmm.
whilst you're here, no matter what you believe in, afterlife, all that sort of stuff, on Earth, as we know it, we get one life, and if you are trapped in that body, you're not feeling confident. It doesn't sit right with me knowing that people can prevent that and change that. And
Yeah.
we spoke off this, but with my childhood and like I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and so I've always been a big saver. And I've always viewed health and fitness as the same as a compounding thing. If I save
Hmm.
something, I invest my money and I do, and I make certain amounts, and then it will start to grow. Same with your health. You don't expect too much at the start, but it's like a bank. The amount of effort you put in right now is maybe a lot. Like if you're going from the couch to nothing to trying to get fit, it's gonna be a lot of effort. But 2 years down the line, it's gonna be a lot less effort to maintain that. And that's what I try to reinforce with everyone. If the intensity you need now is not the intensity you'll need in 3, 5 years, you can easily maintain a new fit body. And it's the same with investing in an ISA or whatever it may be in a bank with interest, isn't it? You don't need to keep depositing huge amounts because it starts to grow naturally.
That's right. Exactly right. Like you said, you've got to start even small progress is a win. And then from there, you commit to it. And you've always just got to have a commitment. But you're right. It's, you let the compounding effects take advantage. And that's the real win.
And this might sound very morbid to a lot of people, but it is true because I just wanted to show this. Like, it's people I've worked with. AJ was over in Pennsylvania, so he was one of my US clients. He's actually one of my first US clients, and he reached out to me. He thought cancer would be a big wake up call for him, but before he knew it, he was 320 pounds. Still not, he'd been in remission, he'd beaten cancer, but he thought maybe that was going to be a big change for him, but it wasn't. And he didn't have the habits or know how to change it. Within 4 months, he lost 40 pounds,
Wow.
and we speak all the time still. He still messages me like, because he picked up all the skills. Like, it wasn't, some people don't want to be with me forever. They want to just come with a set period of time. I have people that have been with me for 4 years, 5 years. Some people come with me for 6 months, and they learn the skills and pick it up. I speak to him now. He's 100 pounds down, and he looks like
Hmm.
a person. So, and being with those types of people, it's so important. I was on with before I got on the call. I was on with my client Mark, who's also in Pennsylvania, and he's been given statins by the doctor, given this and that. We've literally in the last 4 months reversed his triglyceride count. So if people don't know, his the amount of fat in his blood and his cholesterol by half in 4 months' time. In 4 months, by literally training in the gym 3 times a week, literally 3 hours a week, walking, focusing on his food, and he feels great. And he says it's like great to get a few compliments, but more than anything, he just goes to the doctor and doesn't have to worry about his health insurance, worry about how much the doctor's going to cost, worry about the medication he's got to buy next, because he knows that that's it's been, and like, as this person said, an investment in your health and well-being from the offset.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love that approach of, like you said, some clients may want to hire you and be with you forever, for the accountability. But for those who are like, hey, I'm good, I think I've got this, they always know they can come back to you. And
Yeah,
finances and health are very similar because things change in life. Somebody, for example, they have a kid. 6 months later, their entire exercise routine went down the drain. And they're like, I need to call Stan. I need to
yeah.
get back on track again. And same thing in finances, if it's a recession or a job change or, retirement. Yeah, oftentimes clients are like, hey, you called at the perfect time because this has changed in my life. And having that resource is huge. And I like that you're an advocate, but that you're available for your clients in that case too.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
I've just got a client back recently who was with me. He came with me last year for 4 months. He lost 20 pounds. Then he runs his own business. Life got ridiculously busy. He had a kid. Everything fell out the window. He's now come back and he's like, "Oh, I want you to do it with my wife as well." So now I've got both of them back, and
Yeah.
but now it's a joint effort. So now with it, it's no longer he's doing it on his own and he's cooking his own meals or anything like that. And I tried to make it with everyone. If you're cooking one thing, I'll make it so that your wife can cook it as well, so you do it together. But now they're both in it together and they're both going to promote a healthy life for each other. I mean, you can still go out for drinks. This person over here put about making it a sustainable lifestyle, and I try to incorporate one of the best things in life is going out for drinks with your friends and meals with your friends. So
Mm.
I try to incorporate that and teach people how to adapt that in. You don't have to cut these things out. You don't have to lose social occasions. You don't have to lose out on things you enjoy just because you're trying to be healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do the same with finance. People always
Exactly.
say, I tell them outright, I said, look, I'm not going to let you give up your present, what you have now, solely focusing on your future. You definitely have to have balance. I want people to travel. I want people to go on hunting trips, fishing trips, take their kids to Disney, do these things that, again,
Take
they're
me.
going to have amazing experiences. But it's like, you can't only do that, right? It's like, yeah, you got to have balance. Yeah. You can't go to Disney 6 times a year and then say, well, I didn't save any money for my
Listen,
future.
you're gonna take me. I've already said you're gonna take me hunting.
That's
I've
right.
never done it. I'm gonna come over to North Carolina and you're gonna teach me.
Yeah. So the next video, that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be Stan's first duck hunting trip. I'm gonna take
I'm
you
all over
offshore
it.
fishing. Yeah,
I'm all over it.
absolutely,
I can't
man.
wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So you were asking me before how I do it with everyone. So this is how I like to do it with every single person. I make it very bespoke, very tailored to the person. You look at and this should be the way with, even if they don't want it, no one to come and sign up with me, but what you're looking for, if you were to do it with a coach, what you should
Mhm.
what you should look for, you want it to be tailored to you. You don't want just a cookie cutter random program that they could Google or AI chat GPT. You want it something that's bespoke to the person. So first thing I do is an assessment of their current lifestyle, their diet, and you make small adjustments. Like you said with finances, make small adjustments. You're not completely overhauling. then it becomes a simple, systematic approach to, right, this is where we're going to be in 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. And then you've got something to aim for all the time rather than just hit, like kind of hitting and hoping. Close your eyes and throw a dart and hope, oh, I hope I'll lose 6 pounds this month. It likely won't happen. And that's how you can create sustainable changes. Then we're doing, I call it the in and out training plan. I don't like to be, as much as I love the gym, I don't like to be in the gym for more than an hour. At best, I do 45 minutes just because I get bored. So I like to go in and get all my clients to go in, make most of the time. If you are in the gym for over an hour, you're probably wasting your time. You
Hmm.
just you just going through the motions, get in 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be something, and most of my clients are really, really busy. So you do not have to do anything that's going to take up all your time in the world. Then we look at the accountability and support. This is probably the biggest factor. So they get daily WhatsApp support. They can text me anytime. They can call me. They can set up strategy calls anytime. So we go, I've got a holiday coming up. How do I navigate it? I've got a meal out. What shall I do this weekend? How do we compromise? Check-ins so that we go, right, you've lost between Monday and Friday, you've just lost 2 pounds. The weekend you put on 2 pounds. What's happening on the weekends? We look at all
Yeah.
these types of things, and then we do a gradual approach to it all. And then and the main thing that this all creates is habit. So I look for the lowest
Mhm.
hanging fruit straight away. You don't, and you look at, right, what can I change immediately in that person's life to make it better? That's same with you with finances. What can I change immediately? What outgoings can you see that's causing them a little bit of a stress financially? After 6 months, I guarantee most people have a complete reform. Most people, the average loss, and this is like just the median loss, is £22. So that, I mean, that's nearly 2 stone. That's
Mhm.
UK terms, £22. I'm sure that's a lot better.
Yeah.
But in 4 months, that's a lot of weight while still going out for food, still enjoying holidays, still having a normal life without restricting yourself. And that's the main thing I try. Yes, you could lose more, but you have to give up your life to do it. Whereas I try to do it with everyone in a simple way, in a gradual way as well. So that's the main thing that I focus on. And then we focus on phases, assessment, reinforcement of the things that you've just put in place. So maybe we pick one habit at a time, you reinforce that habit, then move on to the next thing, completely transform. So you make a lifestyle approach to it, and then life beyond that, whatever you want to do. When you get to the goal, do you want to learn to eat more food? Do you want to sustain it? Do you want to maintain it? Do you want to build more muscle? Do you want to, run a marathon? Do you want to, whatever you want to do, skydive, hunt, whatever it is, I
Mm.
make it. I like to use my body for outside. Everything you do in the gym should be make whatever you do out the gym better, not the other way around. It should be, using the gym for a force for good in your life. Playing with your kids, going up the stairs, things like that. That's what it should be used for.
That's awesome. No, I love that, man. And it's so cool how you can integrate, finances, health, and wellness, and they become, not only a habit, but a pursuit, an interest that you have. I've seen people in finances say, "Oh, well, I want to invest in this thing or do this," and then over time they really start to enjoy it, and they're like, "Man, I love it." And the same goes to health and fitness, like dieting. People often start out with dieting, and they're like, "Okay, I'm eating more whole grains, I'm eating more fruits, more vegetables." But then to your point, it's like, hey, I want to grow my own fruits and vegetables. Hey, I want to prepare my own meals. So, you get to that phase 4 and beyond where now all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, I'm helping my budget out because I'm buying less groceries because I'm growing them myself. And secondly, I made some really awesome meals that have been a lot of fun to make. My family likes them. I like them. And now, cooking is something I love. And it's something, my wife and I, we always talk about, we always incorporate, high protein meals. We do vegetarian based meals, and we like to have fun with it. We change it up. Like for example, people are going to probably laugh at me, but today I was looking at what we had as leftovers. It's like I got a black bean burger, I've got some edamame and broccoli, and I was like, okay, so I get my protein, my lentils, and vegetables. And then of course, me being Andrew, the Southern one, I'm like, well, let me add something a little sweet on the end of it too. So I had a little piece of dark chocolate.
Love it,
but
love it.
but it's fun. It does become, like you said, it transforms your life where now, and I love, and this is going to be my question for you, Stan, as we wrap up, what's that one guilty vice that you like with eating? So for
Oh,
me, it's sweets, sweets, and then also cheeseburgers. Oh, I love a good
oh,
cheeseburger. But I've learned back when I was 22, 23, and I could eat 4 cheeseburgers a week. I didn't think about my cholesterol or anything. And now for me, a cheeseburger is like a treat, every 2 weeks or so. And I really enjoy it, but I also enjoy really eating well. Like I enjoy eating lean proteins, high vegetable meals, etc. But yeah, it's the ice cream, man. That's my weakness. So
I've
what's
got
it for you?
I've got a few tips for you. So one cheeseburger, I've got a on my Instagram and I've got it on what I'll do as well is I'll include a few downloads that I give to all my clients, completely for your clients, so they can download it. Some example meals, high protein meals, some easy recipes that they can use
Awesome.
and put in their life. Cheeseburger, I make my own cheeseburgers. So what I do is just get ground meat. I love burgers. Ground meat, and this is what I mean when you start looking at your food as don't think of the recipe. Think of it as where am I getting my protein from? Where are my carbs coming from? So I'll make my own cheeseburger, healthy cheeseburger. Just smash burger. Put some 150 grams of ground meat down. Smash it down. Put it in like maybe you're being a bit naughty. Maybe you had a brioche bun. Add a little bit of
Yep.
cheese. But it's a very much healthier way of. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a much healthier way rather than going to get in a Five Guys or whatever it is. Now, my personal, I've got a sweet tooth. So this picture here I was in Bali earlier in the year. I lost 10 kg in 10 kilos, 22 pounds in 8 weeks. I did it I documented the whole thing on my Instagram. I was like, right, this week I'm only going to eat wraps because I wanted to show people you can still lose weight, still enjoy foods. Now, was it hard?
Mm.
I every night I'd have a Nutella, honey, and jam wrap as a
Oh,
dessert,
it's awesome.
just to show people this is how you do it and stay in the. So I love a sweet thing. When I was in Bali, I ate a sickly amount of cinnamon rolls. It was just disgusting. Cinnabon was there. I'd never had a Cinnabon in my life, and I was like, oh my God. And I had I looked one night, I ate two, and they must have been 1,000 calories each. And I looked at myself in the mirror and thought, you are disgusting. I can't believe that. That's my vice is I love cheesecake. I would call myself a cheesecake connoisseur. If cheesecake's on the menu, I will eat it. Ice cream. Now you say ice cream. My tip for everyone watching: buy a Ninja Creamy. So a Ninja Creamy will one save you money on ice cream. It's a Ninja Creamy is Ninja's the brand. What you do is you put fruit in the little cup that they give you. You freeze it overnight, and then you put it in the creamy, and it makes it into ice cream in literally 3 minutes.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to get that. That's
I
awesome.
did that. That's what I ate every single night to lose the weight because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it if I was got my sweet tooth. But yeah, my advice: sweets. Not sweets per se, really good desserts. I love a sweet thing after my dinner. So it's about, but then how I teach everyone. If you like popcorn, we can incorporate it. It's just making compromises, not sacrifices. And
Hmm.
last thing, so like going through all this, that's just summing up everything. But these are all my clients that, not all my clients, but these are some of the clients that I've trained. Just to highlight a few, Adam was never been in the gym in his life. He was 132 kilos when we first started, so that's like 270 pounds, and he lost 30 pounds in 4 months. Literally
Wow.
32 pounds in 4 months. It literally 16 weeks, he lost 2 pounds a week, and he literally went in the gym twice a week. That was it.
Mm.
You know,
That's awesome.
Josh is a business owner. He designs sprinkler systems. He lost 20 pounds in 12 weeks. David's 43. He'd never got into shape. All these people are very similar to, I'm sure, the people that you train, and they all, lost weight. Women lost weight. She actually, I had Elaine. She was 50. She's 53. Believe it or not, she looks great. But I made her eat double the amount of calories that she was on the picture on the right. She's eating twice the amount of calories that she was eating on the left because she was eating too little. I had to make her
Wow. Hmm.
so yeah, so all these people very similar to what the type of people that you tell me your clients are like, desk based, maybe they've tried in the past and they think that's it for them. But yeah, this is what I love to do, and these are the type of people that I train. But yeah, and every single one loves a sweet treat as well. Like ice cream is my and I'm pretty sure 90% of these people bought a Ninja Cream because I told them to.
Oh man, I was gonna say I'm probably when we wrap up buying one because yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be so excited. One to use it, but then two for that fact that like, man, I can enjoy this every single night now,
a
and
liter
I
of
feel
ice cream.
guilty about it.
A liter of ice cream for 200 calories. It's unbelievable. It is
That's
unbelievable.
awesome.
Mango with a bit of Greek yogurt in. Oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
Man, that's perfect. I love it. Well, Stan, last follow-up question, and really enjoy this, and I really hope everyone who's tuned in has learned a lot. But for those who want to follow you, who want to reach out to you, who want to possibly even use you for services, how can they find you? What's the best way to get up with Stan?
LinkedIn. If your clients are on LinkedIn, I'm sure a lot of your clients are.
Yep.
Yeah. So if they're on LinkedIn, you can. It's just my name, Stan Vaccari. If you're on Instagram, I'm at stanv_pt. So I put loads of helpful videos on both accounts. Just tips, free tips for your fat loss, for just making lifestyle changes. I do daily tips every single day. So feel free to follow me on either of those. And then reach out if you want to train, you want to improve your health, you want to do it in a sustainable way. I offer everyone a free consultation call, so there's no obligation to sign up. We go through a full health assessment. So I go through and I try and give everyone enough value on that call to make it worthwhile. So let's say Andrew, you and I were having the call, we go through what you're eating right now, where you want to be, what it looks like in the future for you, what some little changes that you can make. I can give you free resources that I give some of my clients that may help you, and then you can decide then if it's worth. You can either take the free stuff and run, or you can get my expertise, and then you get the extra little bit of guidance, support, and we work together for 6 months, 8 months, whatever you decide you want to do. But yeah, that's how it works, and we do it on a very tailored one-to-one basis. You work directly with me, no one else, and that's how we do it.
I love it, man. Customized accountability, and like you said, make an impact down the road. That's the
And
biggest thing
I just
is
want to say thank you so much for doing this as well. I mean, both you and I have spoken quite a few times now, and we have.
absolutely. Yeah. And for those who are wondering, Andrew, how in the world did you meet Stan? Stan reached out to me actually on LinkedIn
Yeah,
and sent a very customized approach. He did some research on me. He was like, "Hey, I see you're into outdoors fitness, etc." And I was like, wow. I said, we all get solicited, for things. But I reached out to Stan because I was like, man, that's really impressive. But I was like, P.S. I want to learn about what you do because I think this will be valuable. So we have become really good friends through this process. But I definitely think again, can't tell you thank you enough for what you do for people out there because as we said, what the whole basis of this webinar is about is health and wealth are definitely integrated together. And
yeah.
I think people can live such a more rewarding life when they're healthy, physically and mentally. So appreciate professionals like yourself doing what you do,
I
man.
appreciate you and everything that you do as well. And if anyone, like, let's say no one wanted to go further with me or speak to me, and they just thought, God, that wasn't it, that I'm not talking to that English bloke anymore. But let's say they just wanted to, listen to this. I hope they grab something from this that helps, at least helps a few people improve their health and maybe make a change, just make simple changes in their life. And that's the main thing that I try to do with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.